So we're outside here at Palmer Cemetery. We're in Fishtown right now, where I was born and raised and grew up most of my life. I've been out in and out of the neighborhood and everything. And one of the places in Fishtown that I know of is Palmer Cemetery, where I've heard numerous stories of different things, of people catching orbs and seeing like flying lights and hearing voices in the cemetery. But now I'm starting to hear stories of a woman being seen at the gates. And there are only 3 gates in the park. We have 2 mobile gates down this end, this way on Montgomery Avenue, that we're going to check out. And then the pedestrian gate up here on Palmer Street that we're going to check out. I don't think we're going to go into the park tonight. But if we do, we're going to go in with a still camera first. I'm not going to go against the trustees with a video camera at night. We can do still camera work, but I want to get readings off the gates. They're old iron gates, and they've been painted, and I'm guessing they probably still have lead paint on them. So there's a possibility that that could react with high EMF readings. 4 is always the higher readings on EMF, and I can say I've never got a reading below 350. My average readings are 3 to 500, and this is getting below that, and it's still staying low. Now we're getting back up to normal here. But I'm actually taking these lower readings as something a lot of people wouldn't do, but I do believe that sometimes, due to the fact that a manifestation of a spirit will draw energy, that we could be in a spot that's drawing energy out of, so the reading's going to be lower. So somewhere around here, there's something trying to manifest. And cut. We're about 15 feet away from where I just got the low 200 readings, in the middle of the sidewalk, not near the fence or the cemetery, and we're getting back up to like around 500, maybe to like 510. What happened? And the cemetery is a place that has a lot of spiritual energy and stuff like that. So why is it going down? My only assumption would be because, like I said, just in the last shot, is that something's drawing energy. And we are in the corner of the cemetery where the Lenape chief was buried. Actually, it's a little further down here, Alan. You want to point down that way? Right down in the corner there. He's actually buried on that corner somewhere. They don't know the exact site where he's buried, but it's in that corner down there. And a lot of people believe that he does haunt these grounds. This is a cemetery back in the day. We're talking maybe 18th century, 19th century, where if you wanted to be buried in here, they would have to come in with a pole and drive that pole through the ground. If that pole went down 5 feet, not 6, went down 5 feet, you could be buried in that spot. This is a public neighborhood cemetery. It's not privately owned or anything like that. If you live in this neighborhood, you can be buried in a cemetery to this day if you can still do that same thing. So we're talking people buried on top of people, over on top of people, over on top of people, over again. Where, I don't know the exact size of the cemetery, but if you want to look it up, you're looking in between Memphis Street, up to Palmer, Palmer and Memphis, down to Palmer and Belgrade, Palmer and Belgrade, down to Palmer and Montgomery. Belgrade and Montgomery, Belgrade and Montgomery, down to Memphis and Montgomery. It's a very, very small cemetery. One city block is if you want to estimate it, is the size of the cemetery. Look at the hill we have here. I've spoken to a few people before, and I want to get on my camera. One of them lives down the street, so hopefully he comes home soon, and we might have a chance to talk to him. But a lot of reasons to believe that the raised land over here is because of the fact that they did the pole digging and stuff like that, and for some reason there's not a lot of decomposition over here, or either that or they use crypts. And that's one thing about the cemetery is they actually do not use crypts. They do not put you in that concrete casing so the ground does not go down. You get buried in a coffin and that's it. Although some people have been buried in shrouds in this cemetery too. We're over here and we're still getting, it's not down to 200, but it's up 300. But we come to the possibility that we're getting the higher readings over here because of the fact of the cars over here and stuff. And some cars actually do have magnets in them. And this car is either pretty damn haunted or it's got a nice magnet sitting right there. Wow. Look at that. Let's check out another car. This person just happened to leave the window open a little bit. Yeah, we're getting up from the red here. Hey, check the antenna. A lot of higher readings are over here. But a possibility that our new debunker, who we're not going to introduce right now, is right. He wants to be in the background there. He's like a little shadow person. Just like Jason in the last investigation. But I am also seeing a normal pattern where it's towards the top of the car, towards the back. That's something I'm going to have to look into. But still, going over here, and for it to go down that low over here, a normal reading anywhere is around 500. This is kind of low. It's going below 400. It's at 312 and 332. But it was at 312. That was the closest one I got yet, except for the 200 up there.
No, my next question would be like, why don't you go closer to the tree? Put it up by the tree.
Now, trees don't usually do that. Did you get that?
Yeah. You gotta focus.
Trees shouldn't have a magnetic field like that. I mean, we're getting up into the yellow. Trees don't usually do that. They definitely never ever did that for me before. And especially in a place where something really, really evil has happened to me from people that weren't really, really evil. And people talked about demons being in the spot, seeing shadow people up at Pennypack Park. And the whole funny thing about that is, we're going to get back to that to another day, but we're going to tell you about the spot is now, is there was this place where we all hung out, and now if you go up there, it's like it just totally disappeared. But it doesn't look like it was knocked down or anything, because there's trees and everything in its place and everything. I mean, we're not talking new plants, we're talking trees this big. This is a place like Investigate, especially since it made all my friends turn on me and almost kill me. Very, very evil place. But now we're get back to Pomroy Cemetery. We're getting a reading off a tree. I never get a reading that high off a tree. And it's going. It's moving around. It went down. Why is it so high? Hold on. Can it get reading off ivy like that? No. There is something sitting right around here. That's not the tree. If we go closer to the tree, as you see, it can go down. Could this be the lady they talk about seeing around the gate? Does she walk the perimeter? No, she's not walking the perimeter. It's not her. Whatever it is, there's something sitting here. We got this spot here. Mark it as Memphis Street on Montgomery.
Got me through my point.
Alright, we're getting back up to 1,000. That's about it. No, the meter should run like this. You need it to run like that. The other thing is I need to get other meters in, like analog meters with needles and stuff. That'll prove the point. K2 meters, on the other hand, K2 meters can be a problem because if somebody's getting a text message and they got their phone in their pocket, not on airplane mode, that K2 meter will pick up that reading. If somebody's getting a phone call, but, oh, wait, we're going back up.
Go back again, actually.
Closer to the top post of the fence. It's not the top post of the fence. You know what I'm starting to think is that the lenipes that were buried here might have been buried between these two trees. We still got a high reading here, but we're not getting back up to 1,000 yet. 9. We're just getting back up to 9. So there might be still a little something hanging around here, so something tells me we might have multiple spirits. Of course, we should expect that around the cemetery. Time becomes omnipresent, omnipotent. There's no such thing as time. So when you die, you instantly go to heaven. But the true thing that happens is you don't go to heaven until the rapture, even if you died before the rapture. Jesus does not call you up to heaven until he comes down and calls everybody's name. So that's why we can still have ghosts on earth. But if you were to die right now, if Jesus didn't come for 1,000 years, to you it would seem like a second. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what I mean. So, I mean, it works like that. That's what I believe, and that's what I've been seeing, and that's how I've been explaining it to my Christian friends, because they say there's no ghosts in the Bible. Well, if you read this Bible to the science and stuff like that, and you want to get into science, that's how the science works with it. Time is omnipresent, omnipotent when you die. There is no such thing as time in heaven, because 5 seconds to you up there could be 20,000 years. And or 5 minutes could be the longest run of your life. Like that hallway stretching, like when you got to go to the bathroom and you're running up the steps, and like all of a sudden your bathroom starts going do 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 do.
Going to work at a shitty job, you know.
So
or like dream cycles that people have.
yes.
I mean,
Dream cycles are something a lot of people don't look at, and I think people that are attached to spirits do get the like dream thing going on. And I've seen that before, like people sleeping in my dad's house over there on Thompson Street. Palmer Cemetery, from what I believe, I've not been able to find records on it yet, but I think you probably heard this before, stretched more than this back in the day. And for them to build housing, they moved graves. This block over here, that block over there, all the blocks around it used to be part of the cemetery. Which would make my dad's house part of the cemetery if it's extending on the blocks all around. It's a diagonal and everything around. This used to cover a lot of land. And now it's so small. But I can't find no records on it, so I don't know if that's true or anything.
Like water running underneath here.
Well, let's say one thing. Living in my dad's house, there can be nobody home. You hear somebody walking down the hallway. Toilet flushed in the middle of the night. My bathroom's right next to it. Somebody's home. Nobody's home. Not a single soul in the house. Toilet flushes. How does that happen? You know, my dad, believe it or not, my own dad will not let me in the house because I know it still happens to this day because my stepsister tells me, yes, I sleep in that room now and I hear it all night long. It's not all night long. It's like every 2 or 3 hours toilet flushes. But you do hear people walking up and down the hallway. I mean, it's pretty weird. But that thing, that there, you know, for years and years and years, never made me believe. What made me believe is when I went to Byberry, and I was going to Byberry for urban exploration. I was not ghost hunting. And we're walking through the place. A friend of ours had blueprints of the whole land and everything. And we walk across this one hallway that's not on the blueprints. We found a stairwell that went down into the catacombs where they keep the really, really, really crazy, like criminally insane people in the state hospitals and stuff like that. And that's what I believe it was anyway. And you walk down this hallway, you do a 180, and then there's stairs. Stairs are covered in water. You're not getting through there. But us knowing that all the lower levels and stuff like that could be flooded and stuff, we're wearing waders. So we tried to walk down the steps because we thought maybe we could dip over the overhang and get back up on the other side, but we couldn't do that. What ended up happening is, though, as we were coming back up the steps, we hit the second step, and it sounded like hundreds of people. Maybe not hundreds, but a lot of people banging against the door. Water's rising. Help, help. The water, turn off the water. Help us. Over and over again. But you definitely heard the sound of people banging on doors, kicking doors, just like that. You take a step off that step, instant quietness.